Hi, let me introduce myself. My name is Miguel Gonzalez, and I am the leader of Group 6. We are conducting the research about the comparative study between shorthand and machine shorthand in learning stenography to BSOA students in IRIS. Okay, now let's tackle the introduction. Stenography, commonly known as shorthand, is a method of quick writing that uses symbols in place of letters, words, and phrases. It is used to make note-taking easier in classes, lecture and business meetings, and especially in court hearings. It is still being used to take notes even with the advent of personal recording devices. Learning shorthand is a requirement for stenography, and knowing shorthand is useful in many circumstances and jobs. Shorthand is still used today when stenography machine is not available. On the other hand, steno machine is a specially designed machine which is used for taking shorthand. Many courts reporters use stenograph machine to quickly and accurately record testimony, and the devices are also used by students to take notes. We conduct this research because students find difficulty in steno since they just met this subject in college. Unlike other subjects, they do not have an idea about it. Students are having a hard time in dealing with shorthand, and it requires effort, attention, skill, and focus to this matter. It is like that you are an elementary student familiarizing new letters and new words. Not just with Greg shorthand, students also find difficulty in steno machine. At first glance, a steno machine looks like a regular keyboard, but once you will use it for shorthand, it is really different since there is no letter written on the keyboard. It is very far from a computer keyboard. It needs familiarization of strokes and also constant practices. Office administration students are expected to work in many establishments, especially in courts as stenographers. But before dealing with those, OA students must first learn, understand, and have a good performance in steno in order to get hired. They must acquire all the skills and motivates to achieve such goal. Therefore, the researchers find interest to investigate the Greg and machine shorthand performance of Bachelor of Science in Office Administration third-year students in terms of speed, knowledge, and accuracy to find out if they can write dictated words and phrases with speed and transcribe it accurately. An action program shall be proposed for the improvement of their performance. Now let's tackle the conceptual framework. As you can see on the table, we have the input, process, and the output of our research. You can see in our input, our title, and the process we will do to have and know the output of our research. And now, let's move on to the statement of the problem. The purpose of this study is to determine the difference between shorthand and machine shorthand performance of the third-year OA students. Particularly, this study aims to answer the following specific problems. What is the performance? Number one, what is the performance of the third-year BSOA students in shorthand in terms of speed, accuracy, knowledge, and skills? 2. The acceptability level of the students in shorthand and machine shorthand. Number 3. Is there a significant difference between the performance of the BSOA third-year students in shorthand and machine shorthand?
This is the continuation of Chapter 1. First is the null hypothesis. There is no significant difference between Greek shorthand and steno machine shorthand performance of the Bachelor of Science. Next is scope and limitation. The research focuses on comparative study between shorthand and machine shorthand in learning stenography to BSOA students. Research respondents are the students who studying BSOA. The research is limited to 30 students per section of third-year BSOA students of IRIS. The study will conducted to October 2021 to June 2020. They will be beneficial to the following. First is to the teachers, second is for the students, third is for the researchers, and lastly is for the future researchers. And the last for the chapter 1 is definition of terms. There is the following. Is the BSOA, second is the familiarization, third is the Greek shorthand, fourth is the machine shorthand, fifth is the is the phonetics, and 6 is the shorthand, and lastly is the stenography.
My name is Angel May S. Moreno, and I'm from Group 6 of OA 3D. According to Padilla, shorthand or stenography has been used in a variety of fields of practice, particularly by court stenographers. In the Philippines, the stenographers still use the conventional way, which is by hand. Stenography is a method of writing that uses symbols instead of letters. At present, the stenograph and stenotype machine are used in offices to some extent. Both machines have keyboard of 22 keys because the operator uses the fingers and both thumbs.
Research design. Our research design will focus on descriptive qualitative design is a comprehensive summarization in everyday terms, specific events experienced by individuals. The researchers use descriptive qualitative design to determine which is easier to learn, transcribing a word. This research design focuses on the comparative study between Gregg shorthand and machine shorthand. Our population of the study will focus on 120 CBA faculty that is currently teaching in IRIS. As presented in Table 1, the selected respondents are 120 BSOA students. The participants involved in the students are BSOA student in IRIS, Manila. The researchers do not include students from other course and also any official within the vicinity of the school. The researchers use questionnaire or Google Forms to gather more information from the student of third year BSOA student in IRIS. The aim of this research is to determine which is easier to learn between Gregg shorthand and machine shorthand.
Data gathering procedure. In gathering the data, the researchers will validate the instruments first that is to be used to gather information. After that, the researchers will explain the purpose of the study to the selected respondents, and then they will make sure each participant corresponds to the predefined criteria. The researchers will collect the data by means of Google Forms. The researchers will ask the respondents to which is easier to use between Gregg shorthand and machine shorthand. After the respondents have taken the test, the Google Forms will be checked, tallied, interpreted, and analyzed. Statistical treatment of data. Weighted mean was used to determine which is easier to learn between Gregg shorthand and machine shorthand.